Hey, it's Billy J, Moto ADV. There's a lot of information out there on fire starting, teaching you how to make tinder bundles and things of that nature, fire bows, and how to structure your fire pits and all that, but there's not a ton of information out there on an aspect of it that I thought was common, but the more I've shared it with people, the more I've discovered that it's not. So I want to quickly go over the technique that we use that seems to always work. This is assuming you have your initial flame figured out. You know, whether you're using a lighter or a tinder bundle and a flint, whatever it is, this is not telling you how to do that. There's tons of great information out there on that, but there's not an abundance of great information on this technique that I'm about to show you. The problem people run into most, preparation. Hear me out and you'll see what I mean. First thing you have to do, obviously, is collect the wood, right? And a quick tip on that, if you camp a lot, you know this, but if you don't camp a lot, you may not know this, and this is good information. It's really difficult to judge the amount of wood that you're going to need. What happens is you never get too much. Once you have a bunch that seems like a bunch, it's easy to kind of flow through it quickly. You definitely want to get enough wood. And the first thing I do is process it, break it down into burnable sizes. It's nice and dry. You can stomp and chomp on it. If you're new to camping, don't get too excited and cut it all into perfect lengths, and just don't need to. Sometimes you don't even need to bust the longer stuff up. You can just drag it more into the fire as it burns. The next thing I always do, and this is such a good thing to remember, take from little teeny twig size to larger size and put some under your rain fly. And that way you'll have it in the event of an emergency or if the temperature drops radically at night. But mostly you just end up using it for your coffee in the morning when you watch the sunrise. It's just perfect for that. It's dry and it lights right up. Once you have the wood processed, the key to this technique, we call it pencil lead wrist. What it is graduating diameters of wood stock from pencil lead size on through to wrist size. It goes pencil lead, pencil, thumb, wrist. Once you get up to wrist size, you can pretty much light most things. If you don't have enough wrist size, you can go wrist, bicep, calf, thigh. It just depends on how much stock you have, how dry the wood is. You'll have to experiment with it a bit. But the key is that graduating diameter size. The wood's wet or it's not catching for some reason, it's a little moist, you can add in a diameter. Back off a little bit and put in your next graduating size, which would be finger. So it would be pencil lead, pencil, finger, thumb. And you'll find that putting that finger diameter in there between pencil and thumb will go a long way towards being able to light that next slightly larger diameter stock up. And so on and so forth. If you have all that stock laid out, you'll be more likely to have success in getting a good fire going. As far as your initial fire structure, we use a teepee, just a Boy Scout teepee. Old school, just always worked for me. There are different ways. There are arguably better ways, certain ways that serve better in certain conditions. If your initial structure, which is in our case a teepee, allows for air, and you've got a lighter or a good flame source, if you mind the pencil lead wrist method, you should be good as long as the wood's not wet. Wet wood, here's a cool thing we've done when we camp in the eastern United States, where it's a lot more moist. When you do get a fire going, and it's challenging in the east because a lot of the wood is wet year-round, you get a fire going, when you finally do, you can cut down saplings and make basically a drying rack over your fire. And then you can take your wood stock and put it on that rack and dry it during the evening as you're hanging out by the fire. And when you go to bed, you put it under your rain fly, again, like the other wood. And it goes a long way towards being able to use that wood either later in that evening or the next day. And yes, there is one more important thing, the most important part of a fire, hands down. Hear these words. This is, if you know this, then that is awesome. Thank you so much. If you do not know this, check it out. This is the golden deal here for campfires. Put it out. When you're done, put it out. You'd be shocked. There's parts of Arizona you can just say the word spark and 1,000 square acres will just burst into flames. To put a fire out, it means dead out. It means no smoke, done. You can pour the rest of your water on it. You can pee on it if you have to. Bury it, whatever it takes to be 100% certain. Hope that helps. And if you give it a shot, or if you have any cool ideas to add to it, hit me up. That's it. Moto out.